The quantum arrays beneath Mount Fuji hummed with untold power as Dr. Sarah Chen reviewed the latest test results. The holographic display showed readings that would make any physicist from even 50 years ago question their sanity. But here they were, proof that humanity had cracked the code of quantum manipulation at a macroscopic scale. Director Chen, the Galactic Federation representatives have landed in Geneva, her AI assistant announced. They're beginning the annual technology review. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she authorized another series of tests. Let them come with their patronizing attitudes and barely concealed disdain. For 5 years since first contact, the Federation had treated Earth as a quaint backwater, barely worthy of provisional membership. Their technology inspectors would find exactly what they expected: a civilization still struggling with basic antimatter containment and crude FTL drives. Meanwhile, deep within the quantum research facility, humanity's greatest breakthrough pulsed with reality-warping energy. The Federation's understanding of physics was advanced, yes, but ultimately limited by their rigid adherence to conventional models. Human scientists had taken a different approach, embracing quantum mechanics not just at the microscopic scale, but as a fundamental force that could be harnessed to reshape matter itself. Dr. Chen, your presence is requested in Conference Room Alpha. The AI chimed again. Admiral Wallace wishes to discuss contingency plans. Sarah gathered her quantum tablet, triple-checking that its security protocols were active. The Federation's inspectors were thorough, but they weren't looking for the kind of technology Earth had developed. They couldn't conceive that a primitive species could have leapfrogged centuries of conventional development. Admiral James Wallace stood at the window of the conference room, watching storm clouds gather over Mount Fuji. His weathered face reflected decades of military service, now dedicated to protecting Earth's greatest secret. The Federation team is being particularly nosy this time, he said without turning. Their lead inspector, Kaveri, keeps asking about our power consumption readings. They're still within expected parameters, Sarah replied, pulling up the carefully crafted false data. As far as they can tell, we're burning through enormous amounts of energy trying to improve our antimatter reactor efficiency. And the quantum core, completely invisible to their sensors. They're looking for tachyon emissions, gravitational distortions, all the standard signatures of advanced technology. Our approach is so fundamentally different that their equipment registers nothing unusual. The Admiral finally turned, his expression grave. We knew this deception couldn't last forever, Sarah. The quantum fleet is almost ready, and tensions in the outer rim are rising. Sooner or later, we'll have to show our hand. Sarah nodded, remembering the day they'd first achieved quantum coherence at a macroscopic scale. The implications had been staggering and terrifying. Humanity had stumbled upon something revolutionary, a technology that could either elevate them to galactic prominence or make them a target for every advanced civilization that feared being surpassed. The Federation believes they're guiding our development. Admiral, their patronizing attitude is our best protection. As long as they think we're struggling with basic physics principles, they won't look too closely at our quantum research. A holographic alert appeared between them. Kaveri's inspection team was requesting access to the facility's power distribution center. Sarah quickly authorized it, knowing they would find exactly what they expected: inefficient energy routing, crude attempt at plasma containment, and no hint of the quantum revolution happening beneath their feet. Director Chen. Kaveri's translated voice came through the comm system, his tone carrying that familiar note of condescension. Your facility's power usage is remarkably wasteful. Perhaps our engineering team could provide some basic guidance on energy efficiency. We would be grateful for any assistance, Sarah replied smoothly, while Admiral Wallace suppressed a smile. Let them think Earth was still stumbling in the dark. Let them offer their carefully measured help while humanity's quantum fleet grew in secret facilities around the solar system. The truth would emerge eventually, but for now, humanity's greatest advantage was being underestimated. The Federation saw what they expected to see: a young species still grappling with elementary physics. They didn't realize that human scientists had taken a quantum leap beyond conventional understanding. As Kaveri's team conducted their inspection, Sarah's quantum tablet silently recorded their scanning frequencies and search patterns. Each inspection made their deception more perfect, their camouflage more complete. The Federation's assumptions about human capability had become a shield, protecting Earth's revolution in physics until the time was right to reveal it. Admiral Wallace watched the alien inspectors through security feeds, his expression thoughtful. "How long until the first quantum battleship is ready?" "The QS Prometheus will begin final testing next month," Sarah replied. "Its quantum core is stable, and the reality manipulation fields are functioning beyond expectations. When the time comes, it will rewrite everything the Federation thinks they know about warfare and physics." Outside, lightning illuminated Mount Fuji as nature's power echoed humanity's hidden breakthrough. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn that they had severely underestimated Earth's potential. But for now, Sarah Chen returned to her quantum arrays, maintaining the careful illusion of a primitive civilization, while humanity prepared to shock the galaxy. The acidic clouds of Venus swirled in endless storms, providing the perfect cover for humanity's most ambitious military project. Deep within the planet's upper atmosphere, the quantum shipyards of Project Aurora floated in carefully maintained gravitational bubbles, hidden from the prying eyes of Federation surveillance. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of Station Aurora Prime, watching as the massive form of humanity's first quantum dreadnought took shape. The QS Prometheus was unlike anything ever built in known space, its hull simultaneously solid and fluid, its very existence challenging the laws of conventional physics. "Status report on the quantum core integration," Elena asked, her voice carrying across the command center where dozens of Earth's brightest minds coordinated the construction effort. Dr. Marcus Zhang looked up from his quantum interface, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "The core achieved stable multi-state resonance in this morning's test. We're seeing energy efficiency levels that would make Federation engineers have a collective breakdown." Elena smiled, remembering the patronizing lectures from Federation representatives about Earth's crude energy systems. If they only knew that humans had discovered how to tap into quantum probability itself as an energy source, manipulating reality at its most fundamental level. "Commander," her AI assistant interrupted, "we're detecting unusual activity from the Federation observation post on Mars. They're adjusting their long-range sensors." Elena's expression hardened. "Activate the quantum camouflage fields. Let them scan all they want. They'll see nothing but Venus's normal atmospheric disturbances." The project's security relied on more than just stealth technology. Earth had carefully crafted a reputation for technological incompetence, making the Federation believe that humans were decades away from building anything approaching advanced warships. The quantum shipyards were protected by the galaxy's greatest defense, the assumption that they couldn't possibly exist. A massive section of the Prometheus's hull shifted, its molecular structure rearranging as quantum engineers tested its adaptive capabilities. Unlike conventional warships that had to choose between armor or shields, quantum technology allowed the vessel to adapt its very nature in response to threats. "Dr. Zhang," Elena called out, "show me the latest combat simulation results." The main holographic display came to life, showing the Prometheus engaging a simulated Federation battle fleet. The quantum dreadnought's capabilities were revolutionary. It could phase through enemy fire, split its probability field to appear in multiple locations simultaneously, and launch attacks that struck their targets before they were even fired. The Federation's combat doctrine is based entirely on classical physics, Marcus explained, manipulating the hologram. They have no defense against weapons that exist in a quantum superposition or attacks that alter probability itself. Elena watched as the simulation demonstrated the Prometheus's reality warping capabilities, and they won't develop countermeasures easily. Understanding our technology would require them to completely rebuild their scientific foundation. Deep within the shipyards, more quantum vessels were taking shape, Each represented a different approach to applying quantum mechanics at a combat scale. The QS at Einstein specialized in probability manipulation, making enemy attacks statistically impossible to land. The QSS Schrödinger could exist in multiple states simultaneously, appearing to be in several locations at once. "Commander," a young engineer called out, "the quantum core is showing unusual resonance patterns." Elena moved quickly to the monitoring station, but Marcus was already there, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. "It's all right," he assured them. "The core is adapting to its new configuration. This is actually a good sign. It's developing quantum coherence faster than predicted." The entire project walked a dangerous line. Every day they pushed the boundaries of physics further, taking risks that would horrify Federation scientists. But Earth couldn't afford to play it safe. They needed weapons and ships that would completely change the rules of space warfare. Status update from Surface Command. Elena's AI reported. Federation diplomatic delegation arriving next week for another technology assessment. Elena shared a knowing look with Marcus. They would go through the familiar routine, showing the Federation their best attempts at conventional technology, accepting their condescending advice, all while humanity's real achievements remained hidden in Venus's clouds. "They'll probably offer to help us improve our atmospheric processors again," Marcus said with a slight smirk. "Last time, they spent 3 hours explaining basic principles we mastered decades ago." "Let them," Elena replied, watching as another section of the Prometheus came online, its quantum field humming with impossible power. "Their assumptions are our best camouflage." The quantum shipyards continued their work, protected by storms and secrecy. Soon, the Federation would learn that while they were lecturing Earth about basic physics, humanity had quietly revolutionized their understanding of the universe itself. An alert flashed across Elena's quantum tablet. The Prometheus's main weapons array was ready for testing. She authorized the procedure with a thought, watching as reality itself seemed to bend around the massive vessel. The Federation believed they were shepherding a primitive species into the galactic community. They had no idea they were helping to conceal humanity's greatest technological leap. "Begin final integration phase," Elena ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. "It's time to show the galaxy what quantum warfare really means." As Venus's clouds churned above them, Project Aurora continued its work, preparing for the day when humanity would reveal its true power to an unsuspecting galaxy. The quantum fleet grew stronger each day, hidden by storms and prejudice, waiting for the moment when the Federation would learn that they had catastrophically underestimated Earth's potential. The Federation Council chamber on Alpha Centauri Station hummed with nervous energy as emergency alerts flashed across every display. High Counselor Zinra, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of distress, materialized in the center of the vast amphitheater. "The long-range quantum arrays in the outer rim have detected something unprecedented," they announced, their translated voice reaching every corner of the chamber. "An unknown force has emerged from the dark space between galaxies." The holographic display above showed a mass of ships unlike anything in known space. They moved as one entity, their hulls seeming to absorb light itself. Initial estimates suggested thousands of vessels, with more appearing every hour. On Earth, Admiral Sarah Chen, recently promoted from her role as research director, received the emergency transmission in the Quantum Command Center beneath Mount Fuji. Her expression remained carefully neutral as she watched the Federation Council's panic unfold. "They're calling it the Nexus," her aide reported, scrolling through incoming data. "Initial analysis suggests their technology operates on principles even the Federation doesn't understand." Sarah's quantum tablet silently processed the sensor data, comparing it to Earth's secret research. The Nexus ships used some form of consciousness-linked technology, their movements suggesting a hive mind that coordinated their actions with impossible precision. "The Federation is mobilizing every available ship," the aide continued. "They're requesting Earth's contribution to the defense fleet." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. For years, humanity had prepared for a moment like this, knowing their technological deception couldn't last forever. But they had expected to reveal their true capabilities on their own terms, not forced by an existential threat to the galaxy. Back in the Council chamber, the Federation's leading military minds presented their analysis. The Nexus fleet would reach populated space within 2 weeks. Their numbers and technology suggested a force that could overwhelm even the combined might of the Federation. Earth will, of course, contribute what ships we can spare, Sarah announced to the Council, maintaining the facade of technological inferiority. Several Council members didn't even bother to hide their dismissive reactions. High Admiral Kextil, his cybernetic implants glowing with barely contained frustration, addressed the human representative directly. Admiral Chen, while we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm, perhaps your ships would be better suited to evacuation duties. The Nexus fleet appears to possess weapons that would tear through your primitive shields in seconds. Sarah nodded respectfully, even as she received confirmation that the quantum fleet was ready for deployment. We understand, Admiral. Earth knows its place in the Federation hierarchy. The Council session continued, with the most advanced species presenting their battle strategies. None of them noticed how Sarah's quantum tablet processed their tactical data, identifying the flaws in their conventional approach to space combat. In the shipyards of Venus, Commander Elena Rodriguez received encrypted orders from Earth Command. The quantum fleet would remain hidden until the last possible moment, waiting for when their intervention would have the maximum impact. The Federation's battle plan is fundamentally flawed, Elena observed, studying the tactical projections. They're thinking in linear terms, trying to match the Nexus's numbers with conventional forces. The Prometheus and its sister ships hummed with quantum energy, their reality warping cores ready for combat. Years of secret development had produced vessels that could rewrite the rules of space warfare. Now they would face their first true test against an enemy that threatened the entire galaxy. The next week passed in a blur of preparation. The Federation assembled the largest fleet in its history, with ships from every major species forming battle groups according to their technological level. Earth's conventional vessels, the ones the Federation knew about, were assigned to the rear, protecting civilian evacuation corridors. The Nexus fleet has accelerated, Sarah's aide reported during yet another Council session. They'll reach the outer defense line in 36 hours. The Federation admirals adjusted their plans, redistributing ships to strengthen their forward positions. They spent hours debating tactics and contingencies, barely acknowledging Earth's representatives. Deep in the Quantum Command Center, Sarah authorized the final activation sequence for Project Aurora. The quantum fleet would emerge when the battle was at its most desperate point, when the Federation's conventional tactics had failed and the Nexus threatened to overwhelm their defenses. Let them underestimate us one last time, she told her staff, watching as the Federation's mighty armada assembled. When this is over, the galaxy will never look at Earth the same way again. The Nexus fleet approached like a wave of darkness, their ships moving with an organic fluidity that defied conventional physics. The Federation's most advanced sensors struggled to maintain lock on the alien vessels, their energy signatures shifting and pulsing in patterns that suggested consciousness itself had been weaponized. In the Venus shipyards, Elena prepared the quantum fleet for emergence. The Prometheus reality warping core thrummed with power, its quantum fields ready to demonstrate warfare on a level the Federation had never imagined possible. All ships report ready, her tactical officer announced. Quantum cores stable, reality anchors holding steady. We can deploy on your command. Elena studied the tactical display, watching as the Federation fleet arranged itself in traditional battle formations. They had no idea that humanity's greatest achievement waited in the clouds of Venus, ready to change the course of the war before it even began. Soon, she promised her crew, feeling the quantum energies pulse through the ship. Let the Federation see what humanity can really do when we stop playing by their rules. The galaxy stood on the brink of a war unlike any in its history. The Nexus threatened everything, but in that threat lay humanity's opportunity to emerge from the shadows, to show that being underestimated had been their greatest advantage all along. The Federation battle fleet hung in space like a constellation of artificial stars, their formation perfectly arranged according to centuries of tactical doctrine. At the rear, Earth's primitive ships maintained their position near the evacuation corridors, exactly where the Federation admirals had placed them. High Admiral Kextil stood on his flagship's command deck, watching as the Nexus fleet approached. Their dark ships moved with unsettling synchronization, like a swarm of cosmic predators sensing their prey. First wave entering weapons range in 5 minutes, his tactical officer announced. Enemy count now exceeds initial estimates by 30%. The Federation's most powerful warships formed the vanguard, their advanced shields glowing as they prepared for combat. Nobody paid attention to the quantum fluctuations beginning to ripple through space near Venus. Admiral Sarah Chen's voice came through the command channel, causing several Federation officers to frown at the interruption. Admiral Kextil, requesting permission to adjust our position. Our sensors indicate. Maintain your assigned coordinates. Earth vessels. Kextil cut her off. The real fighting is about to begin. Stay back and protect the civilian ships as ordered. Sarah's response was lost in the chaos as the Nexus fleet opened fire. Their weapons were unlike anything the Federation had encountered. Beams of dark energy that seemed to corrupt space itself, tearing through advanced shields like they didn't exist. Multiple capital ships lost in first exchange. The tactical officer's voice rose in alarm. Their weapons, they're targeting our shield generators specifically. It's like they know exactly where to hit. The Federation fleet's careful formation began to break apart as the Nexus pressed their attack. Their ships moved impossibly fast, adapting to each counter-strategy almost before it was implemented. They're linked somehow, one of the science officers realized. A collective consciousness coordinating their entire fleet. Our individual ship tactics are useless against their unified response. In the Quantum Command Center on Earth, Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold exactly as their simulations had predicted. The Federation's rigid tactical doctrine made them vulnerable to the Nexus's adaptive strategy. All Quantum Fleet units, prepare for emergence, she ordered, her voice calm but carrying an edge of anticipation. Coordinate with Commander Rodriguez. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity has been working on. The first indication that something was wrong came from the Federation's sensor officers. Space itself seemed to ripple and fold near Venus, reality bending in ways that their instruments couldn't properly process. Unknown energy signature detected. The report echoed across all command channels. Massive quantum disturbance in Sector 7. The clouds of Venus parted like a curtain being drawn back, revealing something that shouldn't have been possible. The QSS Prometheus emerged first, its kilometer-long hull shifting between states of matter, quantum fields warping space around it. Behind it came the rest of humanity's secret fleet, vessels that defied conventional physics. By the eternal void, Kextil whispered, watching as the quantum ships took up attack positions. What have they done? The Prometheus engaged its reality warping drive, appearing to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Its weapons were beyond anything the Federation had conceived. Quantum-phased energy beams that struck their targets across probability itself, bypassing shields and armor by altering the fundamental nature of spacetime. This is Commander Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Quantum Fleet. Her transmission reached every ship in the battle zone. Beginning attack pattern Aurora. All Federation vessels, adjust your formations to support our quantum strike corridors. The Nexus fleet reacted to the new threat, their hive mind attempting to analyze and counter the impossible ships. But humanity's quantum technology operated outside the normal rules of physics. There was no pattern to predict, no strategy to adapt to. The QSS Einstein unleashed its probability cannons, creating zones where enemy weapons had a 0% chance of functioning. The QSS Schrödinger phased between dimensions, its quantum torpedoes striking from angles that shouldn't have existed. Federation vessels maintained distance from quantum strike zones, Sarah ordered, her voice carrying none of the subservience she had shown in council meetings. Your conventional shields cannot withstand the reality distortions our weapons create. Federation officers watched in stunned silence as Earth's quantum fleet engaged the Nexus in ways that rewrote their understanding of warfare. Ships that had seemed primitive just hours ago now demonstrated technology centuries beyond their own. The Prometheus led the attack, its quantum core pulsing with enough energy to distort light itself. Reality became fluid around the massive vessel as it demonstrated the true power of human innovation. Multiple Nexus ships destroyed, Elena reported, her tactical display showing the battle's shifting probabilities. Their hive mind is struggling to adapt to quantum warfare. They've never encountered anything like this. The Federation fleet regrouped, their admirals struggling to integrate Earth's impossible ships into their battle strategy. Years of dismissing humanity as technological primitives had left them unprepared for the quantum revolution unfolding before them. Impossible, Kextil muttered, watching as the Prometheus phased through a Nexus energy blast, its hull existing in a quantum state that allowed it to simply ignore conventional attacks. All this time, they were capable of this. The battle raged across space, conventional physics giving way to quantum warfare as humanity's secret fleet demonstrated their true capabilities. The Nexus's advantage of numbers meant nothing against ships that could alter probability itself. Quantum core at maximum power, Elena announced from the Prometheus's command deck. Initiating final attack pattern. All Federation ships, clear the engagement zone. What we're about to do will rewrite local spacetime. The quantum fleet moved in perfect synchronization, their reality warping fields combining to create something new. A cascade of quantum possibilities that overwhelmed the Nexus's hive mind. Ships that had seemed invincible began to break apart as probability itself turned against them. Sarah Chen stood in the Quantum Command Center, watching as humanity's greatest achievement changed the course of the battle. The Federation would never again underestimate Earth's potential, never again dismiss them as primitive newcomers to the galactic stage. The Nexus fleet is retreating, the tactical officer announced, amazement clear in his voice. Their remaining ships are breaking formation, trying to escape the quantum effect zones. The battle was over, but its implications were just beginning to ripple through the galaxy. Humanity had hidden their greatest technological achievement in plain sight, protected by the very prejudices that had once held them back. As the quantum fleet regrouped, their hulls still shifting with reality warping energy, the Federation commanders could only watch in stunned silence. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted in a single battle, and nothing would ever be the same. The Federation Council chamber had never been so silent. 2 weeks after the battle against the Nexus fleet, representatives from every member species gathered to confront the implications of humanity's quantum technology. The QS of Prometheus hung in orbit above the station, its reality-warping hull a constant reminder that everything they thought they knew about physics and warfare had changed. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the center of the chamber, no longer relegated to the lower tiers, where primitive species were seated. The quantum tablet in her hands contained the full technical specifications of Earth's breakthrough, data that would revolutionize the Federation's understanding of the universe itself. For 5 years, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast space. You treated Earth as a technological infant. Your scientists lectured us about basic physics while we reshaped reality itself. Your military advisors dismissed our capabilities while we built ships that could alter the fundamental nature of spacetime. High Counselor Zinra's crystalline form pulsed with complex emotions. You deceived the entire Federation, hid technology that could have benefited all species. Did we? Sarah interrupted, bringing up a holographic display of the Federation's own records. Every member species here maintains secret research programs. Every world represented has hidden capabilities they don't share with others. We simply did it better. The Council erupted in protests and accusations, but they fell silent as the Prometheus demonstrated its quantum drive above them, briefly existing in multiple probability states simultaneously. The display of power was subtle but unmistakable. In the Venus shipyards, Commander Elena Rodriguez supervised the integration of Federation observers into the quantum fleet's support structure. The initial shock of human achievement had given way to cautious collaboration, though trust remained fragile. "Your quantum cores," a Federation engineering expert marveled, studying the Prometheus's specifications. "They don't just manipulate energy, they rewrite the local laws of physics themselves. How did you even conceive of such technology?" Elena smiled, remembering the breakthrough that had started it all. "We stopped trying to force the quantum realm to obey classical physics. Instead, we asked what would happen if we let quantum mechanics operate at a macroscopic scale. Your scientists were so convinced it was impossible that they never truly tried." Back in the council chamber, the political implications of Earth's revelation continued to unfold. The balance of power that had held the Federation together for centuries was crumbling, replaced by something new and uncertain. "Earth's quantum technology represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of the universe," Sarah continued. "But more importantly, it proves that no species has a monopoly on innovation. Your assumptions about human capability were your greatest weakness." The Federation's military command was already adapting to the new reality. The Nexus threat had been driven back, but not eliminated, and humanity's quantum fleet represented the best defense against their return. Earth's position in the galaxy had changed overnight from dismissed newcomer to technological leader. "We propose a new framework for technological cooperation," Sarah announced, sending detailed proposals to every council member. "No more artificial restrictions on primitive species. No more technological hierarchies based on how long a civilization has been spacefaring." In orbit, the Prometheus's quantum core pulsed with energy as engineers from a dozen species studied its operation. Humanity's breakthrough had opened doors that the Federation's finest minds hadn't even known existed. "The Nexus will return," Elena told her crew as they prepared for another patrol. "But next time, the galaxy will be ready. Our quantum technology, combined with Federation resources and experience, will create defenses they can't overcome." The Federation was changing, its rigid structure giving way to something more dynamic. Species that had been dismissed as primitive were being reevaluated. The assumption that technological progress followed a linear path had been shattered by humanity's quantum leap. "Earth kept this secret for 5 years, one council member observed. What other surprises might humanity be hiding?" Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The quantum fleet was revolutionary, yes, but it wasn't humanity's only breakthrough. In laboratories and research stations across Earth, scientists continued to push the boundaries of what the Federation thought possible. "The galaxy is entering a new age," she told the Council. "The Nexus showed us that threats can emerge from unexpected places, using technology we don't understand. Survival requires innovation, not just iteration. Earth's quantum technology isn't the end of our journey. It's just the beginning." The Prometheus initiated another quantum jump, its hull shifting through multiple states of reality. Below, Federation scientists watched in amazement as their instruments tried to make sense of the impossible. Humanity had hidden their greatest achievement in plain sight, protected by the very prejudices that had once held them back. But now, as the galaxy faced threats from beyond known space, those prejudices were falling away. Earth's quantum revolution had proven that innovation could come from anywhere, that no species had a monopoly on pushing the boundaries of what was possible. As Sarah left the council chamber, she received a message from Earth's Quantum Research Division. New breakthroughs were already emerging, building on their mastery of quantum mechanics at a macroscopic scale. The Federation would never again underestimate humanity's potential for innovation. The age of quantum warfare had begun, and humanity, once dismissed as primitive newcomers, now stood at its forefront. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what Earth had been working toward all along.